se karuna kori, veda se karuna kori.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Very nice to be here again with all of you. Today's class will be short because I have a hard stop at 8 o'clock. And many of us do. Some of us on this call are also part of Janardhan Maharaj's call today, which I believe starts at 8 o'clock Central Time. So we won't cover the whole chapter. Today we're doing chapter 10. We will only cover maybe the first part of it. And the next time we'll continue. So we'll do like half today, half next time. As much as we can, we'll do today. So I will just share my screen. We can start with the introductory prayers to the spiritual master. Om Jnanam Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we're doing chapter 10, the opulence of the absolute. So this is a very special chapter. as I mentioned to you last time, chapter 9 is called the most confidential knowledge. But then in this chapter, Krishna begins by saying that this knowledge is even more confidential, because knowledge about Krishna directly is always the most confidential knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained." Amazing, huh? The most confidential knowledge has already been given, but now he's giving knowledge that is better than what has already been explained. Having established that the supreme yoga, bhakti, is practiced by constant remembrance of him, in this chapter, Krishna will teach us how to remember him when we see opulent, beautiful, and powerful things within this world. So in the previous chapter, Krishna was establishing the path of reaching him, the path of devotional service, the path of bhakti. In this chapter, he's showing us how to do that. So he specifically said that my devotees, tushyanti cha ramanti cha, are always, talking about me, thinking about me. They're always remembering me. Manmana bhava man bhakto. Always think of me. He established remembrance as the primary process of reaching the Lord. But now he's describing that this is how you can remember me always. So as I mentioned, knowledge about Krishna is always the supreme knowledge. So this is now knowledge about him. And hearing about him, knowing about him, who he is the essential ingredient to remember Krishna. The word Bhagavan is explained thus by Parashara Muni: one who is full in 6 opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, is Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this definition of Bhagavan is given by Parashara Muni, and it's very significant. It's very useful for preaching purposes, because people ask, well, who is God? What's your definition of God? So this is our definition of God. Our definition of God is that person who has 6 qualities in full. Whoever has these 6 qualities in full, that is God. So in this world, we all have these 6 qualities. We all have strength, fame, wealth, and we have them to different degrees. So Bill Gates, for example, has a lot more wealth than I do. Knowledge, Einstein had a lot more knowledge, but less wealth than Bill Gates. Beauty, some people are beautiful, but they're neither intelligent or wealthy or strong. And renunciation, they have a lot of the quality of renunciation. They're completely renounced from the world, and that quality itself is very attractive. But here Parashara Muni is saying that if you find someone who has all the strength in the world, all the fame, all the wealth, all the knowledge, all the beauty, and all the renunciation, whoever that is Krishna. That is God. So we're not saying that God is only Krishna, or that we're not saying that Krishna is God because we read about this in the scriptures, and because he is the Hindu God, or because Krishna is God because we decided that, well, this is who God is. No. Whoever has these things in full, that is God. Because Krishna has all these things in full, therefore he is God. And the very name Krishna confirms this. Therefore, because he has all these qualities in full, He is the most attractive person. And that's why Krishna means the all attractive person. In this world, when people have strength, they become attractive. When they have fame, they become attractive. But they have some strength, that's why they're attractive. But they don't have all the strength. Or they have strength, they're super strong, but they're not so beautiful. You know, strength and beauty are not the same. Some people are very strong, but they look like, bulls. They don't look, like Miss World, right? Not attractive, not beautiful, but very strong. But Krishna's strength, Prabhupada specifically describes as such that although he's the strongest, each of his limbs are soft and so delicate and so perfect. He has perfect strength, all the strength, and also all the beauty. Some people are very strong and maybe even very beautiful, but they're not wealthy, right? So they have it to some degree. So they are attractive according to the degree that they have it, and according to the degree they have specific qualities. But Krishna is all attractive. He's Krishna. He's the all attractive one because he has all of these qualities in full, in complete full. He's fully cognizant of his position as a supreme personality of God, and on account of the fact that he has all of these things. And that's why Krishna is all attractive. We think attractive generally means beautiful. So Krishna's all attractive means all beautiful. But beauty is one quality of attraction. Reason why it's all attractive is because he has all the qualities in full. It's like some people who are very famous and beautiful. They're not very humble people, right? They're not people you actually like to be around. And that's why you read it, in the news, they go through divorce like every few years because they're very proud. But Krishna is not like that either. He has all the renunciation. He's completely renounced from it also. He's not proud. So Krishna says, so this is the text 1, which establishes the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and why Krishna is the best subject matter for discussion, because in this way, we can see him in all places, in all situations, in all things, among all people. We can see the presence of the Lord, and we can know his opulences, which are in full, which make him the most attractive. So text 1 is about listen and hear to Krishna's opulences. Text 2 through 7 is Krishna is the mysterious origin of everything. So he's the origin of everything, and specifically the qualities we will see. 8 to 11, this chapter is also the best knowledge because it actually is summarizing the entire Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses. This is the best knowledge because it summarizes everything. And finally, 12 to 18, Arjuna acknowledges Krishna as God and wants to see him in the world. So then Arjuna further inquires from Krishna. He tells Krishna that, you please tell me, you please share with me everything about how I can understand you in this world. And then as a response to Arjuna's question, Krishna talks about his opulences. So text 4 to 5. These verses, Krishna describes that these are the qualities that come from him. All these qualities that we find in people are qualities that are originating from Krishna. They don't originate from somewhere else. They originate only from Krishna. So the quality of intelligence. If we are intelligent and we are proud of our intelligence, we should know that our intelligence does not belong to us. It is actually belonging to Krishna. Second is knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth and death come from Krishna, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All of these qualities are originating from Krishna alone. Intelligent refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. So then in the purport, Prabhupada goes through and describes what each one of these qualities are. Wouldn't it be so nice if we had many of these qualities like equanimity, nonviolence, satisfaction, austerity, charity, intelligence? All these are such wonderful qualities. So Prabhupada comments on them, and they're very good for, very important. These lists appear many times in the Gita, and it's very, Krishna wants us to inculcate these qualities, to possess these qualities. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. In one place, Prabhupada says, intelligence means to see things as they are, right? In their proper perspective, as they are. Intelligence doesn't mean to know the answer to all questions, because we cannot find an answer to all questions. For example, why is the sky blue? Okay, the sky is blue because maybe the color of Krishna is blue. So it's his effulgence, and so therefore the sky is blue. But why is Krishna blue? Well, why is Krishna blue? Krishna's blue because he wants to be blue. There's no answer to that. It's just, why is he blue? Because that's who he is. Why is it that we have 2 arms rather than 3 arms? That's just the way Krishna made us. Why is it that we stand on our legs and not on our head? Krishna could have made us so we stand on our head rather than our legs. But no, Krishna made the world in this way, that we're always going to stand on our legs. So there's one Acharya who says that if we keep asking the question, why, we'll become an atheist. Rather, knowledge is not answering all of those questions, but knowledge is understanding the way things are. It's understanding that this is understanding, knowing what is there. What is the relationship between Krishna and the world? What is the relationship between the living entities, the world, and Krishna? Why Krishna made the living entities the way they are, that we can't answer. But why are we in this material world? What is our relationship with Krishna? Understanding how things are correctly, that is intelligence. Why, meaning that why they are the way they are, that we don't know. But most people don't even know the way things are. Having knowledge is understanding the way the things are. Now, still the devotee knows the answers to the why questions a lot more than the non-devotee does. But that's also the inconceivable nature of Krishna, that no one can know fully why Krishna is the way Krishna is. Knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter, right? So the first most basic knowledge is understanding the way things are, is to understand the way things are not, meaning that's what Maya means misunderstanding, that which is not. Thinking something is which is not. So Maya is thinking that we are the body, when in fact we're the soul. Knowledge is understanding that I am the soul encased by matter, and the difference between spirit and matter. Again, understanding the way things are. So not misunderstanding it, but understanding that I am this Atma. Asammoha means freedom from doubt and delusion. This can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Slowly but surely, he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and with caution. So a devotee is asammoha. He's not under moha all the time. He's not illusioned or delusioned. He knows exactly what to do. He knows what is his duty in every situation. He knows how to solve that, the problems that are there, because he is a sammoha. And this comes by virtue of his spiritual knowledge. By virtue of his spiritual knowledge, they can understand everything clearly. The knowledge that comes from within the heart. Like Lord Chaitanya says, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam, that the holy name of Krishna is the source of Vidya, of transcendental knowledge. It's the mother, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. It's the um, it, it's the companion of knowledge. So true knowledge comes from the super soul, which comes from connection with Krishna. And so the devotee is not accepting anything blindly. The devotee is accepting things only out of factual realization. First through philosophy, understanding the philosophy, becoming free from doubt and delusion, and then by factual realization. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Purport to Bhagavad Gita 4:5. Blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned, Prabhupada says. So in chapter 4, text 34, he said this. In chapter 10, he said this. We are not blind followers. We should never give up our intelligence in Krishna consciousness. Even in Krishna consciousness, we don't exactly have the herd mentality. That everyone is doing this, so I'll also do this. This is the way the materialist thinks. Everyone's smoking, also smoke, with no recognition of what's the result of this, well, what's going to happen. Now, if a pure devotee tells us to do something, then Prabhupada says we can run after him with our eyes closed and reach Krishna successfully. We can fulfill that instruction, even if it doesn't make sense to us. However, even there, we don't follow blindly, because we use our intelligence to determine, to become sure whether or not that person giving us the instruction is a pure devotee, to become convinced about the status of that person. Is this person in fact a pure devotee? And one way to confirm that is to see the quality of the instructions. Like Prabhupada's instructions were so sublime that every devotee was just amazed how deep, how wonderful his instructions were, how insightful they were. But also Prabhupada's instructions required some faith, right? They required some faith. In the beginning, sometimes devotees didn't feel like doing it, but they still did it because Prabhupada asked. Because their intelligence made them understand that what Prabhupada is saying correct. I don't feel like it, but this is the case. Kshama, tolerance, and forgiveness should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. One should excuse the minor offenses of others. One should be tolerant. One should be forgiving. It's interesting that Prabhupada writes, excuse the minor offenses of others. If there's big offenses, then also the devotee excuses those, but the devotee may see to the welfare of that person who made the offense and have them correct their offenses, right? Like Prabhupada would excuse small offenses, but if someone made a major offense, he would chastise them, he would correct them. But he immediately forgave them. He was also tolerant. But for instructional purposes, he would also train them. So tolerance and forgiveness should be practiced. Prabhupada in one place says, the greatness of a devotee can be known by the degree they can tolerate. Everyone can become angry, but not everyone can tolerate. And a devotee is very forgiving, very compassionate, very selfless. I was just hearing a lecture by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and he was saying how Jayananda Prabhu, when he had cancer, at the end he had leukemia, then he was getting free money from the government to buy medication for his cancer. And Jayananda Prabhu, as you know, he was an unalloyed devotee of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada made him the first saint in ISKCON. We actually have him on our Vaishnav calendar. And so he would get this money from the government to buy medicine for his cancer. But Guru Maharaj was describing how he would take that money and he would give it to the temple. Even the money for his cancer medicine, he wouldn't keep it. He would just give it to the temple. Of course, he probably knew that he was taking care of the body is also service to Krishna. And he was very intentional in his leaving this world. He wanted to leave before Srila Prabhupada left. He was an eternal associate of Srila Prabhupada. After he left his body, Prabhupada said he went back to Godhead. So we cannot imitate his example, but just as an amazing example that the devotee is such mind, body, and words for the service of the Lord. So for the service of the Lord, they're willing to tolerate anything, they're willing to forgive anyone, and they're willing to excuse offenses of others. At the same time, for their benefit, and for their own benefit, their benefit, also training them, correcting them. Satyam, truthfulness, means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Satyam, truthful, means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. A devotee of the Lord is not duplicitous. He's not a ambitious power seeker. No, he or she presents facts as they are. Control of the senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. One should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called shama. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is a misuse of the thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorized, who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters, and those whose thinking is highly developed. Whew. Such an amazing quote, right? Prabhupada's quote. So we talk about truthfulness, then control of the senses, and now restraining the mind and senses. And Prabhupada describes that we should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. Such a important thing. So much of the time of the week, of the day we spend in meditating on how to earn money. We think about this and that. We think of things in so many ways. In so many ways. Like we figure out so many, we make so many schemes and plans on how to develop our bank balance, right? We make so many schemes and plans on how to make money and enjoy this world. And that same thinking power, if we had utilized it in service to Krishna, what would have been the result, right? That same time, that same energy, so much education, so much, job applications, so much, all these things. Of course, we need to work for a livelihood. And in fact, the Bhagavatam says that by working, the man and or the family person becomes purified by an honest work and serving his devotee family, his own family, himself. It's a way of purification if one is doing it for the Lord. So there's nothing wrong in that. But so much time spending pondering over how to make our material situation better, not just money, but other things also, how to solve some problem, right? We spend time, more time and this time and so much time in trying to solve problems that are virtually unsolvable. That's a misuse of thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters, and those whose thinking is highly developed. So come, pleasure or happiness should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of the spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So we should do what is favorable in the cultivation of a spiritual knowledge, and our happiness should be related in that which is favorable. So we can be happy by so many things, but if we develop a happiness, if we develop our happiness in Krishna consciousness, we feel happy by doing things that cultivate Krishna consciousness rather than material consciousness, then we make spiritual advancement. Just like we can take our children to a museum with dead bodies in it, or a museum with fossils in it, that's dead bodies, right? Or we can take our children to a spiritual outing. Both bring happiness, but in one of them, that happiness is in the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. That same time was used properly because it wasn't spent in developing happiness and material things. Just like that connects with this one, that our mind wants to go in so many places. And that's why we have no time for spiritual life. And that's why all of our time is dedicated to simply material things. All of our time is being utilized. And then people say, well, how do devotees do so much? Well, it's not exactly that they do so much. How do they do so much devotional service? But what they do is they spend all their time with Krishna and with Krishna things, thinking about Krishna, and then they're able to do so much devotional service because that's simply what they do. That's their passion. That's their hobby. Another thought that I had on this one particularly is like when we chant, right? Like this morning, actually, I was doing it, and this verse, especially for me, that's why I'm actually spending time on it. I tend to spend time on things that I particularly connect with myself. This morning, my mind was going so many places when I was chanting because I was thinking about unnecessary things, and therefore I could not think about Krishna. Therefore, I could not focus the mind on the chanting because I was thinking about a particular situation and solving it the whole time, trying in a material way to solve it. So that is a waste of time. That is a waste of energy. Fear is due to worrying about the future. So interesting, so amazing. I mean, Prabhupada's words, he's like, because we read Prabhupada's words so often, we sometimes don't realize how amazing they are, because we also read so much of it, which is so nice. We sometimes forget how each line is so special. Fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear, because by his activities, he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. So we're always so concerned about the future, what will happen in the future. And that is the source of fear. And the source of fear is a source of distress. But why worry about the future? Krishna is the one who makes all the arrangements for every living being. And furthermore, devotees are the last one who have worry about their fear, because they know, not because they think they're so advanced, but due to the activities, because of his activities in Krishna consciousness, he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. And what is the fear of the future if we know that we're going back to the spiritual world, back to Godhead? Ahimsa, non-violence, means that one should not do anything which will put others, means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. Very interesting. Prabhupada says misery or confusion. So violence is also if you confuse someone by giving them false knowledge, by giving them material knowledge, by giving them ignorance rather than knowledge. That is violence. Our educational institutions that are not teaching about spiritual life, that are simply teaching people about material life and putting them in an abyss of confusion, of unhappiness, of misery, they're committing violence. They're writers who pride themselves in being intellectual terrorists, right? There's a form of knowledge called intellectual terrorism. And what that is that it's rather physically through writing something that will cause immense harm to a large group of people, or simply just gets the attention of a lot of people. Sometimes that's what it refers to. It's something that, like that. So through knowledge, one can also cause violence through false knowledge. Similarly, non-violence means don't put others into misery. When you know that someone has a certain limitation, problem, whatnot, then don't unnecessarily put them into misery by taking advantage of their weakness. Sometimes devotees, non-devotees, they have something, they have some, they have a mental problem, a physical disability, they have something. And for that one, even devotees, you see, they can put down the other devotee or be intolerant of it. But that is himsa. So a devotee is ahimsa. He doesn't do anything to put others into misery. He wants to see others happy. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has this beautiful song. He says that my demoniac mind, and he's speaking like a conditioned soul to teach us. He says, my mind is such that I feel great happiness seeing others' misery, and I feel very sad to see them happy. And he says that the quality of a devotee is exactly the opposite. Right? They feel miserable by seeing others' misery, and they feel happiness to see others happy. Samatha, equanimity, refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. A person in Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept, save in terms of its usefulness in the prosecution of Krishna consciousness. So equanimity refers to freedom from attachment and aversion in terms of he sees everyone and everything equally. I actually really have been recently having this realization, kind of deeply thinking about it, that aversion is a form of Maya, right? Being averse to someone or something or some place is a lack of spiritual advancement. Because why the devotee must be averse, right? He's only averse to things that are against Krishna consciousness, not against the person, but maybe against their habit to eat meat, their habit to drink. And so therefore he won't associate with materialistic persons. but he's not averse to certain, like Prahlad Maharaj says, the quality of a devotee is that he doesn't make friends and enemies. He doesn't think of people in terms of friends and enemies, that this person is my friend, this person is my enemy. Partly because over time, as you've seen, it switches. Someone's your diehard enemy and they become friendly, or someone's your friend and 2 years later they'll be your enemy, completely averse to you. So who is your friend and who is your enemy on the material level? It's all the same, but they're only interested in Krishna and they're averse to enjoying material life. That's what they're averse to. They're not averse to the world itself. They're averse to enjoying the world. They're averse to performing sinful activities. Like Jesus said, hate the sin, not the sinner. So Jesus was teaching that you don't hate anyone. You hate their behavior, their activities. But even that, it's a compassion. The devotee feels compassion. It's not really a hate. So any form of aversion is a form of attachment. We're attached to something. We're attached to our position. We're attached to our place, space, our control over something. Therefore, we become averse to certain people and places and situations, because that aversion is related to attachment. Arjuna is averse to fighting because he's attached to his kinsman. So the aversion is simply another form of attachment. He wasn't averse to fighting when he fought in the previous battle or in the other battle. He's averse to fighting because of his attachment. Or he may even be his attachment to being peaceful, but not his attachment to following Krishna's instructions. So that's why Prabhupada says a person in Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept, save in terms of its usefulness in the prosecution of Krishna consciousness. Tushti, one should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Supreme Lord. That is called satisfaction. So satisfaction is something that has to be practiced. Also later on, Krishna says, I forget in which chapter, he says one of the austerity, I think chapter 18, he says, chapter 18, he says, the austerities of the mind are satisfaction. To be satisfied is not something that happens as a result of gaining something, because the mind is always dissatisfied. Satisfaction is something that we practice, that this is all I need, and this is what I need, and this is all I'm going to have, therefore. Krishna has already given me enough, or has given me what is my lot, and I'm satisfied. And now I want to develop my spiritual life. In terms of his Krishna consciousness, the devotee is always dissatisfied. He's always greedy for more service, for more spiritual advancement, for more taste for the holy name. He's never satisfied by his taste for the holy name. He always feels, I have no taste. But for material things, he's satisfied based on what Krishna gives. Like Sudama Brahman here we see, right? He just had a morsel, a little bag of chipped rice, and he was completely satisfied. Tapas means austerity or penance. A devotee is austere. And for us, that means rising early in the morning. Fasting is prescribed by the scriptures. So yesterday here was Ekadashi, and today we broke the fast. That is tapas. That is our austerity. Not eating meat, following the four regulated principles. All of these things comprise of austerity. Charity is offered to the Brahmanas. Charity is another quality because they are always engaged in higher spiritual service and have no time to earn their livelihood. So a devotee's absorption in Krishna consciousness is so great that what to speak of thinking of money all day and night, they don't have time to earn their livelihood. And so therefore, those who are not so spiritually advanced, they would purify their service, which becomes their work, becomes a service, by giving charity to those who have no interest in money. Because then they do, the devotees need a way to live. So because they're not interested in money, the devotee will give a devotee who is earning and who is interested in money will give their part of their money to that devotee, and this way purify their livelihood. So it's so nice, everyone can make advancement. Some devotees make advancement by only working for Krishna, not working, and others, they make advancement by working, but helping those who are continuously engaged in Krishna service. Yashas, fame, should be according to Lord Chaitanya, who said that a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. So this quality of fame comes from the Lord, and we should not accept any other fame other than the fame that comes of its own accord, given by Krishna, which is appreciation for one's devotion. But even there, we must be very careful. Like we hear the story of Madhavendra Puri when he goes to Kshir Chor Gopinath, and Lord Gopinath saves a pot of sweet rice for him. And this is a miracle, right? The sweet rice, a deity has saved sweet rice for his devotee. And the pujari finds out about this, gets a dream, he delivers it to Madhavendra Puri. And that same night, Madhavendra Puri gets that sweet rice, and he's, the pujari finds him and gives it to him. And it's described that Madhavendra Puri leaves that very moment after receiving that pot of sweet rice, because he understands that though he has no desire for fame, his fame as a devotee now will spread in the entire city and town. And you know what we would do? Oh my gosh, if something like that happened, we would be like taking our socks off, pulling up our dhoti, in case someone needs it, bringing a vessel, and just waiting for people to come and wash our feet and take the Charanamrit and drink it. And, we'd be so excited. Now everyone knows that I'm such a great devotee. When Madhavendra Puri immediately left that place because he knew that this word would spread, and he wanted to get away, leave, before people started coming and touching his feet. He wanted to leave the town before anyone started praising him and people started to visit him in throngs. Now, of course, one could say that, if people know about it, then he could have used that as a platform for preaching. And that's exactly why some of our great acharyas and devotees in our movement, they do accept the honor that's given by people due to their devotion, due to the clear qualities that they've exhibited and the miracles that happen around them. And that fame, they don't, like Madhavendra Puri, they don't just disappear in the forest, but they accept it because not accept it for themselves, accept it for Krishna. They agree to it, so to say, because they use that fame in Krishna's service. It becomes a platform by which they can influence thousands of others and bring them close to Krishna. And that's the only reason they accept it. His Holiness Romapa Swami Maharaj was mentioning this in the class, that Prabhupada says Guru is one. So in what sense are they one? They are one because Guru means only for Krishna. Everything 100% only for Krishna, right? And because each bona fide spiritual master has that consciousness, only for Krishna. Everything, mind, body, words, everything that they're telling others, everything that they're accepting, in every way that they're engaging people, it's only for Krishna. There's oneness there. All the spiritual masters are one because of that common consciousness. They all have the same consciousness, and it's the consciousness that's the person, and so they're all one in that sense. So a devotee's fame is far greater than the materialist fame. A materialist fame lasts his lifetime, but a devotee's fame is eternal. A materialist fame may last 1,000 years, but a devotee's fame is eternal. So now text 8 to 11 is the next section. We finished one section, a very important section. Please meditate on these verses, meditate on these qualities. And now Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita is very amazing. We'll spend time on it, and we'll stop here for the day. So next time we'll start from here and we'll finish the chapter next time. Chapter 10 is particularly a long chapter and a very important one because it has the entire Gita in it. And so we'll stop here for today. I would just have a minute. Any quick comment or question anyone has, we literally just have a minute. Very straightforward, right? So we will stop here then, and please continue your homework, and please keep sending it in by email, and we will do chapter 10 next time.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Namaskar.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Dandavad.